everyone. I say that
Hi.
like people are here yet. But anyways, we'll have people here hopefully in a minute if they're not already checking in. Like, because tonight we got Storytime Chit-Chat. So no game tonight, but we're continuing. We're doing our bi-weekly discussion of our other content. So totally go read it if you haven't. Stick around if you want to hear about it, but be aware, tons of spoilers, because we are like 50 chapters in almost to when Souls Awaken. So like tons of spoilers all over the place. People are being killed, important people.
Very important.
Lots of tragic backstory stuff coming to life tonight.
Extremely so.
Yeah.
It's gonna be an adventure.
Oh, it's an adventure for the soul. Ha. Get it? It's when Souls
I
Awaken.
think I still have one actually. I have I have several souls.
Stop taking souls, man.
Hey,
I'm
not
Z.
taking them. So listen, what happened? Like
Hey,
legit,
you
like I'll
wonderful.
be like there was a time where
Hey,
like
Ren! Sorry, I was so
Hi,
excited.
Ren. No, that's fine. No, legit, there was a time where like I would just like kind of like jokingly be like, oh, what's in it for me? Whenever somebody would like ask me to do something, and like I had to stop because on several occasions people just offered me their souls.
Amazing.
And I was like, okay, sure. And so like they're just kind of sitting there,
Amazing.
hanging out. I haven't figured out what to do with them yet. It's like my moon water.
Oh
I haven't figured
yeah,
out what
I
to do
forgot
with that.
about your moon water.
Actually, I did use it on a sigil at one point, which was cool. Instead of lighting a sigil on fire, I dissolved it in moon water. It was nice.
Ah. I gotta go back to watching your stream now, technically.
Yes.
Oh gosh, how do I get there? Okay, there we go. Just so that way.
Okay.
So like I was saying a moment ago, if you weren't here, there's gonna be lots of spoilers for what's going on, and some of them are pretty, big to Laura's backstory and whatnot, because
there's a very heavy one.
There's some heavy ass shit coming up. So I don't know if you're gonna want to stick around if you're not caught up. But we'll be starting the discussion in like 3 minutes because I don't know. I try to keep close to my schedule. I really do, guys. I mean, oh god, my arm just deciding to do its own shit.
I just want to point out something extremely important.
Me too, but I took off the word ban for this stream.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, no, we took off word ban for this stream and the Monster Under Bed for this stream because we're trying to get through our content here. But no, very, very important announcement, Amanda.
Oh yeah?
So right now, where I'm at,
yeah,
is in my house, but like outside, I'm not outside, but my house outside it is 69 degrees exactly. So nice.
Nice. It's been a really nice, mild day.
Yeah, it was pretty great today.
Also, I hope the music isn't too loud or anything. I got lo-fi in the background tonight just because, well, it's easier than my YouTube playlist, honestly, to just use the extension, so. And I'm a fan of lo-fi. I like it as background noise.
Yeah.
I spent a lot of time studying and watching the lo-fi girl,
Nightbot with the rip, nice.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God, 100 degrees. I would die. I do not do well in the heat, guys. I do not.
No, definitely not.
But how you guys doing tonight? How you doing, Rin? How you doing, Z? It's nice to have you back. Nice. I'm good. Let me pop it over to the. There we go. Now we can see both our avatars. I really need to like update everything again. Like, I feel like I should make like a new story cover. I should also like do like, update my little thingy up in the corner there. I feel like I need to redo everything again. I like redo it every couple of months, but
I really just appreciate that with my avatar's placement. As long as I'm looking at the chat, like physically, I'm actually looking at the chat on the right hand side. As long as people don't have it.
No, you're looking away from me.
Yes, as in if you're looking on Twitch right now.
Yeah, you're looking away from the screen. The chat's on the other side.
The chat on your overlay is on the left-hand side. The chat
Oh.
on twitch.com.tv is on the
Oh,
right-hand
okay, right, yeah.
side.
Yeah, but that one doesn't matter. It's that one there. It just looks like you're not paying attention to the stream. Maybe I should switch the book title around with the chat.
But that might actually not be a bad idea.
But then it would confuse me because then chat would be on two sides of my screens because I have the stream chat on that side on OBS because I don't use the Twitch to look at my stream, to manage my stream. I do it all on OBS.
Anyway, it's 10 o'clock.
It is. Look at my fingers. Woo! It's 10 o'clock. Okay, I don't know why I'm doing that. I'm sorry, guys. I'm tired. I have been struggling to get through everything. But I'm getting there.
Okay.
I'm getting there. Rawr. Don't know why I roared, but whatever. Anyways, so, oh look, there's a star emoji behind my head. Oh, I love having all your emojis. It's so wonderful. Thank you. I love getting spammed with emojis, especially when they pop all over screen. It's like, yes. It's the best widget I've ever found, is that one to make it pop all over the screen when you get spammed by them.
Yes, I know.
Can you believe that people like ban, make it so you can't? Oh, see, look at that. But I can't believe some people are just like, no emojis for you. I want emojis all over my screen all the time. You kidding me? I'll love it. Mm-hmm. Shower me in your love. Okay.
Phrasing.
You know what? Anyways, cough, cough. Oh my god, a bunch of dinosaurs. Did you see that? That was adorable. Okay, so chapter 47. Oh my god. I love you guys so much right now. I mean, look at it all. You're all the best. I hope you know that. So much love for you. So we're gonna get started. We're gonna start off with when Souls Awaken and then go into, the Aphuanian Tales like we always do. So tonight I got 3 chapters I'm covering, which is Promises of the Heart, Scarred Trees, which has all the backstory spoilers in it, and then the last one will be Dark Lights. So, chapter 47 is Promises of the Heart, and it's a lovely chapter where we're finally seeing that slow burn start to sizzle, and it's lovely. Because this has been a slow burn of a romance. Partly because, Axis got, thrown right out the story for a while there, pretty much.
Yeah, I mean, he only disappeared from her life for, 14 years?
Yeah, something like that. 13 years, something. For years. For over a decade. Anyways, so for appearing characters this chapter, we got our wonderful hothead Axis, our hero Alora, our best lesbian Flora, our wonderful sloth Rune, and then Al's mother in memory. We're not going to say anything nice about Al's mom.
Rip.
The only good mom here, or nearby somewhere in our hearts at the moment, is Ruby. She's the closest one to the stream right now. Ruby's the best.
Assuming that she is there and it's just
she's nearby because if Ren's here, she's near.
That's true.
As far as I care, that's the logic I'm using anyway.
Okay, that's fair.
All right, but anyways, so there's no God chat really in this chapter, and it starts out with Axis waking up to find Alora passed out on the couch. She's not looking very comfortable, so being the sweet little puppy he is for her, he just scoops her up and takes her to bed so she can be comfy. However, unfortunately, she wakes up in the middle of a nightmare, and right just as he finishes tucking her in. So it was like, oh look, oh fuck, kind of deal. Anyways, so she's looking really upsetty spaghetti because nightmares and PTSD, trauma. Ooh. But so it's in this chapter that we actually get to see Axis slipping a bit into the caretaker role with Alora. And she's really struggling to hold it together. And the main reason Alora's struggling at the moment is actually partly because Axis is there. He's a pretty strong support for her to lean on. And even though she's not consciously like, oh, I can now chill out because I have someone here. He's just, it's happening. And it does. Like, it's something I've experienced, you know, when you finally have someone around that can take off some of the weight, you start to feel it. You're like, oh, didn't know it was that heavy. Maybe I should have gone to the therapist those years ago. Maybe I should go now.
Yeah.
And anyways, this is about Alora's trauma, not mine.
Don't worry, I'll make sure to save all of. I'm taking notes for after the stream.
Oh, I just realized that I haven't fixed your volume. So can you talk to me? Okay, thank you.
You know I love talking to you.
Okay, you can stop talking to me now. I fixed it.
Rip. Okay.
I've gotten better at fixing it. So if you guys were struggling to hear Cease before that, I fixed it. Because I forgot that I hadn't turned that up yet.
And we all know that you love hearing my lovely voice.
Yeah, I'm not trying to drown her in the background, you know. Not yet, anyway. She hasn't annoyed me that far yet, so we're good, we're good.
Oh, but you wait.
Light choking never hurt anyone.
He loves attention, so talking is just a part of that. This is true, I do love attention. Notice me, senpai.
I can't be your senpai. Anyways, so Axis is starting to get the idea of just how much Alora actually needs him. And so the two end up talking about why he didn't take Flora to town, because Alora is being faced with, emotional stuff that she's not comfortable talking about. So what'd she do? She instantly just he's like, oh, so why didn't you do what I told you to? And Axis is like, ah, shit. But then he's like, oh shit, I see what you're doing there, boo. And so he gives her some pretty sound, logical answers while reminding her that Flora isn't like a helpless kid anymore. Flora's grown up, she's 19 now. And she's trained. Alora trained her. So she shouldn't be as worried. She doesn't need to be as worried as she is. And he also drives point the home to Alora that she is not the only one that worries. He's like, I need to protect you you need to protect, Flora and all. It's like, we both have the same issue. You should understand because you're doing it. And Al is quick to push back though. And that's the moment where he really starts to understand just how much losing him fucked her up. Because she starts going, I lost you and that was enough. And she's like, no more trauma, please. But, she keeps doing things that causes her trauma. Yes, he must protect. Yeah, Rixa. I was really thrown off with the E. I was like, wait, Rex? For some reason, I instantly started thinking Mass Effect. I'm like, I guess Rex was kind of Shepard's mom.
Shepard. Rex. Shepard.
Rex. Why? I swear. The things that go through my head.
I just love, speaking of that, just how every time one of us gets on that tangent of Shepard and Rex, most of the time we'll just message each other back and forth Shepard and Rex for
a good
solid
20 minutes.
Oh yeah, solid 20 minutes. Anyways,
back to the story. So in the admission of then she's in the admission, telling him that she blamed herself and thought he was dead and she thought it was her fault. But Axis just owns up to it. He's like, you know what? No, it was my fault, not yours. You're fine. What could have you possibly done? Seriously, I was an idiot. And he really is just in complete awe of how strong she is. She's still, she bore all that and she still kept pulling people from the darkness while she's, basically drowning in it. And he says this really sweet line and they have this really nice moment and it's like the perfect moment to just kiss the girl and they're not doing anything and next thing you know, you just hear Flora yell, just kiss him already. Because and she's like, I'm a fucking lesbian, but I mean, she doesn't curse because it's Flora, but she's like, damn, that was sweet type of deal. And I love that moment so much. It's such a good break in the tension. Yeah. Anyways, Al doesn't handle emotions all that well. So she ends up walking out without even getting dressed. She's in her short shorts that she sleeps in and, her oversized shirt, whatever.
Hey.
And she just walks out. She's just like, nope, I should go. And Flora sends Axis after her with with, you know, some clothes. Like, go make sure she gets dressed. Go fetch. She actually tells him to go fetch because he's a good boy. The chapter then continues with them moving on with their travels, and when they stop for the day, we find Al trying to figure out what she's missing, because she still is feeling some sort of unavoidable loss within her, like she's missing something, and it really bothers her, and she has no idea what it is. Like, she's trying so hard to figure out what the hell it is, but no idea. And then we see a flashback where Alora's mother is basically cursing her existence. You know, like, she's like saying, why'd you have to be a miracle? You know, why'd you have to be a miracle? So it's like, what was it about Al that actually made her a miracle? And who knows? Like, I mean, I do, and so does Hippie, but we're not gonna hold on to that little secret while you guys worry. It'll be fine, I promise.
That's right. And no amount of money under $300,000 will reveal that secret.
Anywho, Flora comes to interrupt. My link tree.
Anyway, yes.
Put us through the suffer, yes. I would love to hear theories. I love, like, you know, in the Discord, throw up your theories. I would love to hear what you guys... I'm going to bother you guys for your theories later tonight. Yes. Probably after the stream.
And Z, that is correct. Flora and redheads are just yes. But to be fair, that is a mood. I too have that weakness.
Look, if I saw Valentina too, I would be like, yes, please.
Mm-hmm.
She is a nice, curvy woman who could stab you quite easily. She wields a spear, if anyone's curious. I'm pretty sure it was a spear that I gave her. I have to remember. Maybe a kite shield? I'm not sure. Was it a kite shield and a spear? I honestly cannot remember.
I think it was a shield and spear, yeah. Although it might have been a buckler.
No. I didn't. I think it might have just been a spear. She might be just a spear wielder. Anywho, Flora comes to interrupt Alora's solitude to gossip about her and Axis. And Axis walks in on them in a pretty compromising position, so he gets all salty, but he's like oddly ready to accept that the two of them might have gotten together in his absence. Like, he's just like, okay, I'm mad, but fair. But, you know, Flora, of course, is like super fast to super fast to try and wingman for him, or maybe even just taunt him. I'm not really sure. It really could go either way with the way that she, you know, helps him out there.
I'm just laughing so hard at Z's comment right now. Shield and spear on a redhead. Why do you hurt me like this?
Because I like hurting myself, Z. Because I like hurting myself.
This is true.
But Axis, anyway, goes to help Alora up off the ground because she was sitting on it, and an owl swoops between them. And it drops a prayer from Vesustio, you know. And we see Axis doing the big brain thing of listening to Larsolis' warning from the previous chapter, thinking about that, about a god holding interest in Al. So now he's like, this is big sus. Big brain play. But honestly, he thinks it's still pretty absurd of a thought. So he's not bringing it up with Al. Plus, he doesn't put too much stock in Larsolis. Still, he doesn't really... He's not short, you know. So after this, we have Axis ending up teasing Alora and striking a bit of a nerve with her, actually. So she yells at him to stop messing with her, which he's just like, okay, I will. And he pulls her into a nice, passionate kiss that ends with him saying, I promise I'll never leave you again. But with what the next chapter brings and what Al does in it, makes you really question if he'll be able to keep that promise with just how far Alora is falling. Dun dun dun.
Dun dun dun. Also loving the comments right now, just so you guys know. Really happy with them.
Me too. I'm having a lot of fun with them. Lars does care. He just does not know how to show it properly. No. And I really love Larsolis as a character once we get to the sequel of When Souls Awaken. I mean, I know that's still like 200 pages off of content.
And so quite a long time in like actual real world time right now, but you know.
Yeah, and I still need to finish the sequel, but like I love Larsolis in the sequel. He's just so... His character development really goes. Bree, hello!
Bree! good to see you.
I get way too. I was gonna say I get way too excited for people joining, but I think it's the right amount of excitement.
So Bree, just heads up, since this is Storytime Chit-Chat, just kind of a reminder, since we're between chapters right now for everybody else as well. This does contain quite a bit of backstory spoilers and stuff like that, so just be aware of that for
Yeah, so if you're interested,
is actually the huge story spoilers coming up.
If you're interested in reading or listening to When Souls Awaken, and you don't want any spoilers, this is definitely the time to vamos, because this is huge backstory spoilers to Alora, who is the main character. But I mean, you're more than welcome to stick around, because you can.
We love you.
If you, the nice thing is that if you do get spoilers, when you're reading through, you can be like, oh my god, is that a hint to it? You know? So some people enjoy actually knowing what's going to happen versus oh shit.
Oh, you're getting rated.
Why?
The party of one.
I'll take it. I don't know. Thank you, Moon Angel.
Yeah, so, and Bree, if you want, I can always PM you after spoilers are, like, done.
Yeah.
So that you can, you know.
Yeah,
that's
so
easy for you.
So we have
Okay, I will do that.
All right. I'll give them one moment before we go into. Oh, I can list the coming characters anyway.
Yeah,
they'll be fine. So, in chapter 48 of When Souls Awaken, it's called Scarred Trees. I swear I can speak. I promise.
Also, thank you very much, Cameron the Moon Angel. I don't know if we actually said thank you.
Yes, I did.
So thank you very much.
I appreciate it very much.
All right.
That's fine. I appreciate it, and thank you for the follow. I'll take it.
Yeah, thank you so much. So we're actually doing our Storytime Chit-Chat, where we're talking about our stories here. Right now it's Amanda's turn. So Amanda, I'll just go ahead and let you do explain a little bit.
So yeah, so the stories that we're talking about are the ones that we write. I use my streaming to supplement it, and so tonight it's not actually a gaming stream, it's a just chatting stream for all the funs and stuff. And When Souls Awaken, which is the link that just dropped, is the novel I'm talking about. Currently we're on chapter 48 in our Storytime Chit-Chat discussions, but I mean, you can find all Storytime Chit-Chat discussions on YouTube up until this point. But you can read it for free on Tapas, and subscribing on there helps me, because once I hit 100 subscribers, that's kind of like affiliate, you know, you can start earning money on it. But anyways, we're getting into some pretty big spoilers for the novel, so woo, lots of fun stuff. Ren, don't feel bad. It's fine. You've had school and all sorts of things to do.
Oh yeah, definitely. We're just glad to have you.
Yeah, we're really happy to just have you in the audience tonight. Honestly, we appreciate it. Oh, but so When Souls Awaken is a dark fantasy, if I didn't say that, with a slow burn romance, and the romance is finally burning a bit here, but so I'm super excited to be finally posting this part of the story. I mean, we're only almost 50 chapters in. A smolder. Answer chocolate cookie. Here, I know the feeling.
Yeah.
Okay, so for chapter 48, for appearing characters, we got Alora, Axis, Rune, Flora. Oh, another really big important thing about When Souls Awaken, the main character's sidekick is a sloth. In case
I love that.
You know that.
I still
Rune
just
is the
love
best
that.
sloth. There's actually a question about Rune that I got from Ruby for tonight, so I'm excited. But so
yes,
we have after Rune we got Flora, the town's victims, Alora's victims, and then in memory we have Alora's dad, Alora as a child, Rune, and Mr. Garrett. That bastard came back in the memories. Just very briefly, just to remind you. So nothing too heartbreaking. We don't really have any God chat in this chapter, but we do have, you know, a prayer note that for some reason is featuring two gods. I mean, if you read the chapter, you'd know why, but but this is just how I do this, apparently. So in this
I
chapter,
appreciate you.
so in this chapter, we start out with concerning stuff, such as like Alora being kind of weird about the town of fanatics she's supposed to go, take care of to stop the coming war. And it makes you wonder just like what her connection is to this place and why she's avoiding it, because it's making her act so out of character for herself. And she's not usually like, there's no other time where she's like, let me just ignore this older prayer to take care of this recent one. Like, she is obviously avoiding this. So, but beyond that, the prayer she received from Mencio to deal with it, all has a note on it from another god who she's never heard from before. She knows of her, but she's never heard from her, and it's Anima. Which, relates later to the chapter. This chapter was actually fairly decently long, but I'm not going to say a ton of it, but I'm basically mention everything in it all at once. So it'll be great. So here we go. It is a warning from Anima telling Alora to mind discard trees and missing hearts. And it is after Axis joins Al, they leave camp, have a moment, kill the guards, infiltrate the town, knock over a pitcher, kill her parents, free the victims, escort them out of town, that we see where this warning comes into play. We get a nice...
I feel like there was something kind of concerning in that list.
What? Nah, we're good.
What was that? Could you say that again? No? Okay, that's fine.
You mean they knocked over
I'm
the
sorry,
pitcher?
What? Yeah. What the hell?
Yeah, Axis did not put it back up, but he did put it down nicely on the ground.
How dare he? I mean, that was definitely the worst thing in that list, right?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yes. Definitely nothing extremely concerning.
So that's the entire chapter, basically. But we get a nice flashback of a moment where, before Mr. Garrett shows up, of when Al carved her name and Rune's names into the tree, which is the scarred tree, which she sees after freeing the victims and getting them out of town and all. And they come back and they're like, oh my god, she's like, there's the tree. And then she has that flashback, a little trauma for everyone for funsies. And she punches the tree. And if you saw the meme there, I know. If you saw the meme for this Monday, it was totally based on that. I can, hold on, I can pull that real quick. It'll be great. Do. What was it called? That's the real question. I can grace you with question. My art skills. I was gonna say horrible, but they're slowly getting better.
I was gonna say your art skills are improving quite a bit.
What the heck did I name it though?
Steve.
I have so many. Yes, I named it Steve. Steve the meme. The meme for all the queens.
It's a good meme name.
Oh, punching feelings.
Ah.
Oh god, it's so big. Hold on.
Oh, is it now?
Yeah, that's what she said. But there we go. So that was the meme that I did for that week. But because of course she does not.
Those are some fantastically professional special effects, by the way, people. That definitely wasn't her just dragging it around on the overlay screen.
Yeah, no, I'm cool, man. I'm cool. So I have a question. I don't know if you've written on it yet, but how did Rune and Alora meet? Okay, so so Alora can't remember how they met, and it will be revealed in the story eventually, but there's more to it because she has quite the past, and she's had Rune for as long as she can remember. But we'll see. We'll figure that out when it comes up. But I promise it will come to light the first time that they meet. There's a whole flashback and everything. It'll be great.
Me too, Ren.
Me 3. It's the stress. Anyways, so as I was saying, we get the nice little flashback and the scarred trees, and between murdering her parents and burning down the town, Al is, pretty heartless. So big concerns.
Wait, what was that?
What was what? We're big concern?
But between doing what?
Between murdering her parents and burning down the town, Al is pretty heartless.
Ah, okay, so she's like Batman now. Got it.
If he burnt down, his city.
Well, actually, no, his parents are dead for other reasons. But anyway, yes, continue.
Yeah, I think his parents were actually nice.
Probably.
I don't think his parents called him a curse.
Pretty sure that, like, you know,
existing.
pretty sure that an important part of his backstory is the fact that he liked his parents and they're not there.
Yeah. Anyways, Axis
Anywho.
manages to keep Allura from breaking her fist now on the statue, because now that she's done punching the tree, and burning the town, she's gotta, like, now go fight a statue, apparently. So the statue is of Mr. Garrett, who actually turned out to be a very prominent religious figure within this town. And of course, he was of no other god but Lars Solus. Because of course it was Lars Solus. So after this, they have a little moment, and Axis, talks her down a bit, and they make their way back to camp. So at camp, Flora sees that there's something super duper not okay with Allura, so she's like, Axis will pull her through this. And so she just, like, kind of yoinks Rune and walks out of there to give him a moment. And Axis did manage to talk her through it pretty well. And the chapter ended with Allura finally saying "I love you" back to Axis, because if you remember, the Phoenix confessed his love in the previous chapter, saying "I loved you then and I never stopped," which was super sweet. It was a nice moment. But so there is the next chapter now, 49, Dark Lights, where we have a new character, a mysterious character, come into play. And I can't wait.
I'm doing the arm wave thing.
Okay, I don't know. Goodbye, the one viewer that did not appreciate the... No, I'm just kidding.
Actually, look, on my screen we gained a viewer.
We did? On mine it went down. I don't know what's going on.
Went from 5 to 6.
That viewer account does not update frequently enough to know what actually did and didn't work. Anyways, so for appearing characters here, we have Allura, the Man of the Abyss. Flora, Axis, and Vesustio's Al. I will not be referring to him as Vesustio anymore. He will just be Vesustio.
He is pretty sus.
Super sus. God, I still kind of hate the word sus, honestly, as a shortened, but, like, it's, like, growing on me.
That's
kinda
okay.
like
I still
Gucci.
hate the... I still hate the Ugandan Knuckles meme.
Oh yeah, that's not growing on me. But, like, people saying Gucci, but, like, it just takes people I like using it, and then I'm like, okay, it's growing on me. Except that meme, just no. Anyway, so in this chapter...
Oh, don't worry, Z. It's definitely a man. His pronouns are he, him.
Oh, yeah, for the Man of the Abyss, and I think he's actually referred to as the Man of the Abyss. Or is that in the chapter that's this one?
I'll be lurking.
I appreciate your lurking.
Thank you very much, Edwick.
Thank you so much, Edwick. I hope your stream went well. I saw you had a bunch of viewers. I was like, oh, I'm so happy for him. A bunch for me, at least. I consider a bunch. I like saw his viewer count at 8. I'm like, oh my god, he's succeeding. But I mean, Edwick is so lovable anyway. Edwick has the best energy. That's why he's fun to watch. That's awesome. It's always awesome when you get rated. I got rated today and I was so excited. I don't even care that it didn't have many people. I just feel so loved. Okay. So this chapter begins in what I will refer to as the Abyss, because it doesn't really have a name, and I was like, when I was rewriting this chapter, I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna start referring to it as the Abyss, because it'll make it easier for everyone's life. So it will become clearer where and what this place is later in the story, but it's kind of like a dream, and it mayhaps be one. Either way, a young Allura is sitting on an island made of made of light, to put it simply, and it's in like this middle of darkness. So it's like an illuminated island in the abyss with shores of darkness or whatever. Either way, really nifty place. And it almost seems to be a memory or possibly a dream. Still, it's unclear what it actually is at this point. And in this place, we meet the Man of the Abyss, who seems to be the one to give Allura her pendant that she wears. And something about him is just like extremely calming. Like she can't get past it. It's just like, yes, there's something very nice about this. I forgot that Nightbot does the eyes when someone says hard. And And I just love it so much. This is the quality content I am here for.
I get. Okay.
So there is some sort of connection between Allura and the Abyss Man, but she doesn't know who he is, and his face is cloaked in shadows, so we don't know who he is either. I mean, I know who he is, Hippie knows who he is, Shadow knows who he is, but that's because they're my beta readers. Or alpha readers, I guess, technically.
I am an Omega reader.
And Hippie is also my editor, so...
Yes, that too.
Because I'm cheap. Just kidding, I'm poor. Just kidding, I'm broke. So
we love you very much.
So, subscribe? Maybe?
You know what? Just for that... Okay, I'm just gonna...
You're gonna what?
There's 5 whole cents.
Oh shit, watch out. Look at it, it's so cute! Oh, I love these things. Look at the bits, they're so cute. Okay,
yeah, if you want to make Amanda squeak spend bits, it's really great. It's
now that I'm successfully completely distracted. Where am I? Okay, so the this section of being in the Abyss is cut short, but don't worry guys, we'll come back later. I'm sure you guys will continue to love it and think it's a really nifty place. Anyways, so it's cut short by Flora, who seems to have been struggling to even wake up Allura while she was in there. Huh, that's not concerning. And she doesn't seem to notice anything different about Allura. But then again, Flora is way too upset at over what Axis did to even notice anything.
Just something absolutely horrible.
It was horrible.
One of the most just heinous crimes.
It is one of the most heinous crimes, even more heinous than parent murder. Axis stole Flora's cinnamon bun. It was the worst crime of the story.
Let me guess, someone stole your sweet roll.
That's basically the reference I was making. But Al isn't gonna do shit about it because she wants to just sleep. She's tired. So Flora decides it's her turn to be an adult, and she storms out of the tent and just order, by being the adult, I mean she, smacks Axis in the back of the head and says, "Go, it's your turn now." So Axis has to go wake up Allura because that can't go wrong, right? He's only been pining after her for like years, decades, whatever. But Axis goes in there with the intention of waking her up. And he really did. He was going to do the right thing. But, he gets distracted because Allura is the love of his life and he finds her completely irresistible. So this leads to, of course, some kissing. And then Allura's like, wait a whole fucking moment. You taste sweet. You did steal Flora's cinnamon bun. And it's just like, it's such a big realization. And it's just like, leg gasp. But, and when she accuses him, he says, "Next time, I'll steal yours." And she's all like, what? That doesn't even make sense, being the virgin she is. And he promises, it will make sense. But then he gets cock-blocked before he can act on it by an owl dive-bombing the tent, and the chapter ends. And so the chapter that drops tomorrow actually, kind of feeds into that, because it's called... interruption. So I'll let you guess what that means for poor Axis.
How unlucky do you have to be, though, seriously, to have that at that point, it's almost like it's an act of God to get interrupted by an owl dive bombing the tent.
Yeah, by it's almost an act of God from a certain Vesaccio who takes the form of an owl all the time and is
yeah.
And it's the one that's lusting after someone in particular. That other that another god is like, "Yo boy, guess what? Someone gonna try and steal your girl."
All right,
but
so
anyways, we're on to the question section for When Souls Awaken. These are fan submitted questions, all from Ruby for tonight, and the one that I answered earlier for Ren. But
are we at spoiler-free territory now? Or do you want me to wait until it's feast time?
These questions are pretty vanilla for this one should be fine. Bree's more than welcome to come back. I don't think I'll spoil it. I hope not.
All right. I just sent Bree the message so that way they know.
Okay, coolio. Yeah, that's the other thing is if you want to be parts of this and you're in our Discord, we'll let you know when we get past spoiler parts if you want to skip spoiler parts like that. But
absolutely.
Anyways, on to the questions, and Hippie's gonna read me my questions because I can't read. Just kidding, I can't. I'm not an Aphuanian.
Yes, this is true, and also it's just because I have such a lovely voice.
Just to be clear, Aphuanians exist in his world, in her world, the Aphuanian Tales. It was not a shot at any actual real.
Yes, it is
I just
canon
wanted to be
that
clear.
most characters from the continent of Aping cannot read. Most of them, however, get by forgetting that they can't read whenever they have to read something.
Yes.
Yes. And there's several nods to that. Anyway.
Anywho.
Yes. Anywho. So, will we get to know what happened to Axis in all that time that Allura trained and Flora went to school and such? Or is that going to be more of a, well, I did this while we were separate from Axis's point of view type of deal?
So there will be a chapter or two where they actually run into some of Axis's past. They'll end up in a town where Axis used to stay at. And but there's really not going to be anything revealed beyond what comes to light in fights and stuff just basically what you learn from him, because there's a reason why, and it's something that I'm really looking forward to explaining, but I can't do it until end of story because major fucking spoilers. But once we get there, I promise I can totally revisit this question.
Excellent. So, what gods have been introduced to the series so far, and what's their divinity? Also, how many more gods haven't been introduced yet?
Okay, so far for gods that have been mentioned or made appearances, we have Larsolus, the Phoenix God. Sorry, this is going to be a bit of a list. Larsolus, the Phoenix God, Noxra, the Warden of Hell, and Larsolus' twin sister. And also we have to have an honorable mention for Usko, who is Flora's buddy old pal, how she gets her magic, because he was the Guardian of Hell before he bonded with her. And
now he's the Guardian of Flora.
Yeah, basically. He's a good dog. He thought Axis was a good boy. Usko number one. Usko ready to damn all bitches for her. Anyways, next we have Viserys, the forest god. Nexiva, the goddess of lost souls and daughter to Noxra. Sanakuro, the god of healing and brother to Viserys. Mindavis, the god of magical creatures. Erember, the goddess of weather. Morsimum, the ancient god of death. There are a total of 4 ancient gods. Then we have Lunanorma, who is the god of the moon. Mentio, the ancient god of knowledge. There's our second, Vesutio, the god of sight. Asarior, the goddess of sanctuary. Gratianon, the child god of luck. He's one of the youngest gods, with probably Nexiva being the second youngest. And then we have Anima, the ancient goddess of life, and who also happens to be Morsimum's wife. Yes, death and life are married, because why not? The dragon, so there's this one dragon god and goddess, and I don't know why I named her this, but her Arisposes, and she is the goddess of heaven. I have no idea. I'm pretty sure that's how I pronounce my names here.
Arisposes.
No, it's Arisposes when you put in the two different. I just kept taking 2 different languages and then smashing them together. But that's Sposes and Aurora, so Arisposes. It's heaven and divine or something. But it means the goddess of heaven. And then we have Abervis, who is the missing god. That's how Allura refers to him. He's also been referred to as god of Omnia and the god of everything. And then lastly, and Abervis is the 4th ancient god, by the way. And then, but I just didn't write that because he's god of everything. So I thought it was self-explanatory, but then I was like, you know what? Let me just make sure.
He's more ancient than ancient.
Yeah, basically.
He was there at the beginning.
Yeah. So Anyway, so after that, the last one I have is Ignis Fero, who is the god of the forge, and he was just briefly mentioned in one chapter for like one sentence for a teeny tiny bit of exposition. But,
I realize that you don't have a father listed for Nexiva, but you have a mother listed, so I'm just going to, for the sake of everything, just assume that Nexiva's dad is Eric from the Aphuanian Tales, and he wasn't even in town that week.
I do actually have an explanation for that.
Go ahead. Or is it not? Is it spoilery?
It's a fucking god. They could do whatever the hell they want. Noxora thought it'd be cool to have a kid, so she had a kid. That's literally what happened.
Amazing.
These gods aren't bound by rules, guys. They're basically super OP fucking mages that can break rules. Is how they are.
I'm still going to just headcanon it as Eric just because.
No. Noxora would not. Noxora would not. She would not get in a fucking scent range of Eric. I am sorry.
Oh, I know. I'm just kidding with you.
She's too busy stepping on Z anyway.
This is true.
Anyways,
fine with that.
There's at least 4 gods.
Yes, please.
There's at least 4 gods of this world that have not been mentioned yet. One of those gods is really just a bonus because I came up with his name, but he doesn't play any active role in when Souls Awaken. He was created during when I first started writing the sequel because I was like, I think I want to, have like some earthy mages. So that would be that wouldn't fall under the other gods because they have other things going on. So I was like, you know what? Boom. Anyways, so, and that leads me into the list of Vismundian gods here may grow when I continue its sequel. But those other 3 gods that haven't been named yet are super important, and they're coming up. Like, the story could not be finished without them because they are very well needed. And and it's funny because it's like the one is like a key integral part of like a solution, and he's only there for that one scene.
Yeah.
Like, he's just there for that one moment. Anyways, next question. I was gonna say chapter, but
okay. So, how much time has passed since the first chapter?
So, since the first day of the first chapter, to now, which is chapter 49, it has been 4,783 days. Because apparently I kept the count of the days, but not the years. So, but like you could just do some mythity mathity, because math is fake, guys. Don't listen to what they teach you in school. I'm just kidding. Pay attention to school. But yeah, so 13 years.
I'm really glad you went with mythity mathity and it's not like methody mathity.
I'm sorry. I'm just an innocent little snow bun.
That's right, you are. Yes.
But anyways, it's been about 13 years since the first chapter, but it's only been 6 days since Axis has returned. And so for a fun little age check, Flora is now 19, Axis is 29, and Allura is 25. So next question.
Does Gratianon ever age, or does he just like to stay in his childlike form?
So Gratianon's age and form is dependent on him wanting to grow up. It's part of the whole god bullshit. And this is actually something I plan to address in the sequel, which is titled When Gods Slip. I wonder which god's gonna fuck up next. Will it be Larsolus? Who knows?
Maybe. Speaking of gods, is it just one god that is interested in Allura?
Possibly, but there is only one god interested in claiming Allura for himself. And I say possibly because it's one of those moments I'm not, like, where I honestly don't know. It's like when I was originally writing this story and Hippie would be like, oh my god, so I can't wait to see this scene. And I'm like, me either. I have no idea where I'm going. Like that whole statue, Mr. Garrett, his whole priesthood and everything wasn't decided that he was like actually a religious leader until that statue scene. Like I knew he was like a follower of, Larsolus, but like I didn't know until like he was like their head leader person until that moment. And that was also when I decided that town followed 3 gods. in particular.
Beautiful.
I'm like, how does
Right.
religion work in this world? Next question. Last
Is
question.
rune magical?
All sloths are magical.
That's
Anyways,
fair.
so for some bonus excitement, we're getting really close to a big ass arc that is coming to fruition in in the next few weeks. Like the second week of the first week of July is the like climax of the one part of the arc, but then it goes like it feeds into like another one that's like super like, oh my god, what the fuck's gonna happen? And the following week it's all resolved, so it'll be awesome. I really can't wait. And then because then we will be, in its aftermath, we'll be reaching the arc that brings in not just new characters but new factions to the story as well. And we've been seeing them kind of develop, but at that point, that's when we're going to actually see them come to life for realsies. And speaking of factions, let's totally delve into one of the factions in Cece's novel known as the Cult of Panoba.
Oh, yeah,
So
that
here
means
we go.
it's my time to steal the show, which is
switching
definitely
scenes.
not what I've just been doing this whole time anyway.
There you go, bitch.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Okay, so... Yes, so tonight's topic is on the Cult of Panoba. Now, the Cult of Panoba is going to be playing a key role in the events of my most recent story, which is called The Fell Wren. And when I say Wren, I'm not referring to, of course, Wren Monster here, who has been hanging out in our chat and is very lovely
Wren
for
with
doing
a
so.
W.
We're talking Wren with a W, like the bird, because
Thank you,
birds
Z.
are extremely threatening.
They are.
They're just,
Caw-caw!
they have wings and,
Come on,
no shame.
Wings.
So,
caca. This is the best I can do for flapping my arms. It's not working.
you have such a. Never mind. I'm not finishing that sentence. All right. So yes, onto the. So yes, Cult of Panoba. Here we go. So the Cult of Panoba is going to be playing a key role in the events of the Fell Wren, and I kind of wanted to just talk a little bit about a lot of the horrors they're capable of, and just about them in general. So the cult is primarily composed of mages seeking dark and necromantic powers. Most of its members came to be out of desperation of some sort, or they're just people who at one point felt powerless in their lives and decided never again. It's a really very specifically a cult about pursuing personal power. And
sorry, I got excited with all the
emojis.
emojis.
Yes.
Thank you, Bree.
I love them so much. Those are adorable emojis too.
Right? Mm-hmm. I need to go watch more streamers to collect emojis.
Yeah, seriously. But yeah, they just where was I going with this?
I don't know. I was too busy being distracted.
You know what? Yes. So no, the Cult of Panoba is very heavily one that's based on personal power. They are devoted to a goddess though, and we'll kind of get to that a little bit ahead of time. But one of the biggest driving forces of cult recruitment is ironically the Church of Barthoon, which is the main leading religion in Aphing, at least as far as organized ones go. So the Church of Barthoon is this kind of religion of light, and they worship a sun god called, as you might have guessed, Barthoon. They're extremely oppressive though, and they have some very toxic beliefs, very much like an extremely fundamentalist group, kind of like some of the more fanatical Christian type of things. It's definitely not an allegory at all. Anyway, so many of the cultists actually started as well-meaning people just trying to get away from the toxic beliefs of the church and their kingdoms, but they then get sucked in because, hey, guess what? It's a cult. What do you know? And, they're not good. I want to take a moment, though, to point out here that not all dark mages and even necromancers are part of the Cult of Panoba. Dark magic in Aphing isn't really inherently evil, and the cult actually takes advantage of people who believe this. I mean, a lot of starting necromancers, it's really more about just
You're toxic. I like
wow.
Ren. Come here, hand. There we go. That's for you, Ren.
But so, but yeah, it's, a lot of the, necromancy and stuff, it's more about, speaking to the dead, or, occasionally, the worst will be, well-meaning, but very misguided, we're going to bring mom back.
I think I know what song you're talking about. Sorry. I get it. I can't help myself.
Amanda. but yeah, no, most of it is like people wanting to bring their dead dog or their dead mom back or something like that. But
Lassie,
you know,
no.
exactly. But so
Are we? Oh, wait,
the
wait, wait,
cult
wait,
takes.
wait, wait. Does this mean that we can save Old Yeller,
Yes.
or will he come back rabid?
I
Does
mean,
necromancy cure rabies?
no.
Oh. No.
But they would be, necromantic or things that are brought back through necromancy are completely controlled by the whims of their owner or whoever brought them back. So you could just order them to not have rabies.
Okay.
Also, they're still like decomposed, such.
Yeah, that's kind of
So
gross.
it's zombie dog.
Zombo dog. I think that's more upsetting than.
Fine. Pet Cemetery levels are scary. Yeah, it's fine. It's
fine.
fine.
It's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
But anyway, so yeah, dark magic and aping isn't inherently evil, and the cult takes advantage of people who, are well-meaning and are just desperate in that case. But they're slowly made to do evil things. One of the prime victims of the cult is actually the sea folk race of Destia, which is called an Undarian. They come in both fresh and saltwater variants, but all Undarians have blood that has magic-inducing properties. And so this cult is known for being one of many groups that will kidnap Andarians and extract blood from them to use to their own ends. They try to, they'll harvest it to boost their own magical abilities and things like that, which is very, very, very not good. Yes, please leave the fish people alone. They're good fish people. The cult will also use necromancy and biomagic to create abominations that basically will be like a cross between different species. In a recent collab, we actually saw there was a battle with one of Amanda's characters where she fought against a giant creature that was basically a pseudo dragon mixed with a bear wolf, and it was a horrifying creature.
I love that character too. She's come out so well for not writing in that world that she came from in so long, and
yes,
I actually used her to figure out some stuff for that world. But
so when you see like cult lairs and stuff like that, be prepared for a lot of undead and like Frankenstein-y things, because they'll take the scariest creatures they can find and just Frankenstein them together. It's a thing. So the cult worships the goddess Panoba, a goddess of night whose origins are kind of shrouded in mystery. Very common themes among the cult are
welcome back.
Welcome back, Bree. So very common themes about the cult of Panoba is ideas of death and rebirth.
Flesh golems. Sorry.
Yes, flesh golems is a big thing. So, but many seek eternal life through like reanimation. So a lot of them are trying to find a way to basically turn themselves into liches and stuff like that. There's also rumors going about in anything that the cult of Panoba has been looking into ways to harness the powers of the soul itself to weaponize against the Church of Barthoon. They are looking into ways to harness not only the powers of souls, but the powers of death, to like cast death curses, or even look into darker powers that are far, far worse and definitely don't have any bearing on the story at any point. No, not at all.
Not at all. Not even a little bit. Not even as a treat.
Yeah, but this kind of paints the Cult of Panoba as kind of not necessarily the antithesis to Church of Barthoon, but rather the other side of the coin that it is on. So the Cult of Panoba is not all of its members are evil, but they all do evil things. Likewise, the Church of Barthoon is also very oppressive, and they do some really evil things, but most of its members think that they're doing the right thing. The two are both kind of overall meant to be more about bad organizations that kind of victimize their own members, and so there's a lot of parallels between them, although both sides would hate to know that. So now this is going to be an interesting
I love chat so much.
I
love
too.
all of Ren's anime references. They always make me so happy.
Yes, they're making me happy too. It's fantastic. So so this is going to be an interesting Q&A section for us, because I did not get a chance to actually write down the answers, so we're going to be winging the answers for
I made sure my questions were last because I have things I got props for them.
Oh boy, I am just so excited about
Are you ready?
Yes, I am.
What are your most favorite lines that some of your characters have said?
All right, so one of my biggest, most favorite lines is one that becomes very important in Farron's backstory. And it as one that originally showed up in our collabs, but we kind of have a running joke at it about it. But it is the line, "It's a beautiful night, isn't it?" And it's just because it's a simple phrase that it means a lot to Farron in general, and it really started because of a collab, because one particular character named Zella had been fantasizing
Yes.
about Farron because of his reputation. Hadn't even met him yet, but was fangirling over him because she's heard of his deeds and everything, and had this whole thing in her journal about how Farron would come up
She
and
was
see
having
her,
dreams
and
about it.
she had a dream
She
where
admired his courageousness and being able to, like, she admired him as a hero, and she wished that she could be, like, as useful as he was, because her biggest flaws were that she had zero directional abilities.
Yes.
She got lost everywhere.
Mm-hmm. And so one of her dreams started with him saying to her, "Oh, it's a beautiful night, isn't it?" And then they had relations.
They
so
banged.
naturally, during one of the first nights that they actually, like, after they actually met, he actually said the first line was, "It's a beautiful night, isn't it?" when he went to talk to her. And since then, it became kind of a running joke that every time Farron says it's a beautiful night, isn't it, there's going to be some hanky panky.
Yeah.
One of my other favorite lines. So my favorite line so far that has been canonically published already, though. Yes, they had relations, Bree. I'm being a good.
They banged. We're mature rated here.
This is fair. I was trying. I did have relations with that woman. Anyway. So, my other favorite one is, since we were talking about Brune the other day, Eric, when he's referring to her ability to crush a man's head like a watermelon, he says, "I don't know what a watermelon looks like, but I know what one sounds like." And honestly, pretty sure that I could just say that anything that Eric says is golden.
Yeah.
The man is just a walking punchline, and it's just fantastic.
My favorite lines from your characters is, "Eric, eat my entire ass," and then, "Kit, please step on me."
This is true, although you forgot what Eric calls them after he tells them to do that, because it's all one phrase.
Well, you go for it. I didn't want to mess it up. I knew I wouldn't mess up that part.
It's a fascist piece of crap, but
Oh, "Eat my entire ass, you fascist piece of shit." It's my favorite line from Eric. It's like my favorite line in the whole.
It's also intentionally his first line every time he's introduced.
Also, my other favorite line from your story is, "This is the consequences of your actions."
Yes, and that's a big one, and that one is going to be
my favorite serious line.
Yes, and that one's going to be very heavy for Ren. So later on, he is going to have a lot of anger and everything, but every time he has to kill someone that's like a major player, that's a big bad, he says straight up, like, "I am not a monster," or whatever, or "I am not this, I am simply the consequences of your actions," or "This is the consequences of your actions." And it's very much clearly meant to be a "you did this to yourself" situation.
Mm-hmm.
Is when he's killing a bad guy, he's putting them down.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right, ready for the next one?
Yes.
Have all of your characters been created straight out of your head, or have any been inspired by friends or characters you've seen, met, or watched on anime or anything? I can answer this. I inspired Ash. Not that Ash shows up.
You did inspire Ash. So, yeah, Ash is
going
to show up later.
It was wonderful.
You did cry.
It was
fantastic. Well, go ahead and talk about that one real quick.
No, that's all I had. I was just so touched. I cried a little.
Yes, I created a character based on Amanda, and it made her cry. It was like she got to adopt a character that I traumatized the crap out of, that Amanda wanted to adopt. So
yeah,
she basically got to adopt her in spirit.
You want to hear something really sad? It'll make you sad.
What?
Now I get sad whenever I read over that because Ash has 2 dogs that are based on Roxy and Sasha, and I lost Sasha last year.
Yeah.
The poor girl. She had a very good life. She lived pretty long, and she did really well for her breed too, because she was really big for a lab too. But
yeah, she was.
But yeah. So now I miss her every time I read over that. I told you it was sad.
It was. But no, so to answer the question though, so some characters have been inspired by friends, but I try to avoid basing characters off of ones I've seen or like awesome stuff. I try to make them kind of all my own thing, because most of the time my characters are kind of a means to an end. I want to have a character that tackles a certain issue. That said, there are two characters that are both inspired by folk punk artists. The first is Eric, who is actually inspired by, but not based off of, Eric from Mischief Brew. Has a similar voice to him and everything, and he's basically the spirit of folk punk, and like anti-fascism and stuff like that, just like personified. And then the second is Ezra, who is based very much and very heavily inspired by the lyrics of Pat the Bunny, and a lot of his music. So if you're interested in getting kind of a close look at those characters, definitely look up those two bands, Mischief Brew and Pat the Bunny.
And if you can't remember, just feel free to, message us in the Discord, and Hippie will be more than happy to link you.
I'll happily drop you links to songs that are very inspirational for them. Most of my other characters, though, it's legit just straight up, I need a character for this moment. Here we go, and then I throw them in, and they become a great character as a result. There are some characters that have been planned out, but I try to keep it original.
So let's keep building on that. Which character would you closely relate yourself to?
At this point, Cecilia Guelleray.
Yeah, you know what I meant.
Yes.
I read the question backwards.
No, yeah, you're good. So at this point, Cecilia Guelleray from Brooders, but also the Black Rose 11 from the same story, for very obvious reasons, I think, for anybody who has watched it, but I'm not going to spoil that. But that said, before that, so two characters that I very heavily used to base a lot in parts of myself were Farron and Ren. Ren represents a lot of the anger that I've felt about like different injustices and things like that, and also just a past version of me.
Okay. Ren has a question for you.
What is the hardest part for you in making characters? Honestly, figuring out their depth more than anything, and how they would react to certain things when they're brand new, is definitely the hardest part. The other hardest part is just figuring out what they look like, because a lot of times I'll get their personality in my head before I get their description in my head, and I'll try to base the description off of their personality.
For me, honestly, it's making sure I don't overbuild them. Like, I'm really good at just popping up a backstory, like, in seconds and everything, and figuring out everything. But then, like, I fuck myself over. Like, if I have too much information, I can't build the story for them. I don't know why.
Yeah.
I get blocked. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, I find it easier to build a story with new characters than with ones that are already established.
Oh, and Bree, the way they figure it out, a character's depth and personality with roleplay. Oh, that's a great idea.
That is a really good idea, and it actually... sorry, Amanda, but actually, it's sort of the funny you mentioned that, because essentially that's what Amanda and I tend to do when we're not writing our canonical stuff. Is we'll do collabs where one of her characters gets shoved into my world, or vice versa, and we roleplay through our characters that way.
Yeah,
which is really fun.
And Bree writes TLC, which is a really awesome comic that everyone should check out. There's the link for it.
Yes. And I'll give people a couple of minutes to check that out before dropping mine.
Yeah, well, we'll drop yours at the end of your shit, man.
Yep.
This whole part of the stream's about you. They can have a little bit of fun in there.
That's why I said I'll wait a minute. It's all good. Yeah, a lot of it ends up on the spot, but that's a big thing, is I really enjoy character building that way and everything, and just kind of, but the thing is when it comes to my characters, a lot of times my characters have a tendency to write themselves,
almost to the point that it annoys me.
Yes, almost to the
Not
point where it
almost,
annoys.
it does.
Yes,
It's
very
fucked
much
up
so.
collabs before. I know we've mentioned this before too.
Yes, we
That's
have.
the funniest thing. I'm
It
sorry.
is.
I'm not salty. You're salty.
You're very salty. Yes, I know. It's okay. But yeah, that's pretty much it's pretty much the basis of that. Getting back to that last
So,
question
how
though,
many
the other
characters?
I
Oh,
I
sorry.
wasn't
I
done
thought you meant the
answering the
last
question
catchphrase.
before the question because
Sorry.
interrupted. Yes, it's fine. It's fine.
Don't make me
Anyway,
mute you. Just kidding. I wouldn't
excuse
do
you.
that to you. I'd
I
also
know you
mute the
wouldn't.
music.
So the other character I really closely relate to myself though is Farron because he represents a lot of like the regrets and stuff like that that I've gotten. He actually is the closest character to a version of me that existed up until like 2 years ago before I had my own character developments. So and was a way of me kind of venting out a lot of traumas and stuff like that. So be ready for that when his stuff comes up.
And no need to apologize, Ren. We're happy to pause to answer audience questions.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. No, I was. That
She was
was
just
not
yelling
directed
at me.
you.
She was yelling at me, not you. Trust me.
Yeah.
I'm the one that got in trouble. I've been a bad girl.
Yeah, that's right, and you're gonna get punished.
Oh God. What are you gonna do? Compliment me?
Yes.
So how many
Did you know
characters
that you're
do you
very
have?
lovely and that you're just beautiful and fantastic and my favorite?
Okay. That's I'm gonna find a cliff after the stream. So how many characters do you have, and are there any that you have yet to be introduced?
Yes. So there are at least 7 characters in the Aphuanian Tale. At least. No, serious answer though. So yes, there are actually a lot of characters that I have yet to introduce. To put it to you this way, so on the Crimson Tempest alone, there are 40 named characters. If I were to try to list all of my characters, like just names only, yes, aggressive complimenting. If I were to do names only for my characters and try to list them all here, it would probably take like another hour because there are well over 100 characters to go over.
And you don't even have thorough character sheets to find them all. It would take you so much longer than that.
Yeah, I mean, like just the Vindicators themselves and the Knights and everything. I mean, we've got
you're like
a
as
lot
bad
to go
as me
through.
with in my Dragon War story that I'm eventually gonna finish.
But
and publish.
you know, maybe if I get enough people on my Discord to ask and everything, maybe I'll just post a list on Discord and spam that chat just for funsies.
Characters from today.
Yes. Characters up to today.
Are you ready for the next question?
Yep, we're 5 questions in now.
Oh, wait. You have more to be introduced. That was already answered. Okay. So, yes. Total throughout all current and future projects, you only have 70. Oh, Bree, for my one story, I have 140 or 150 something on one character sheet because I decided I was going to try and make sure that I kept track of everyone she met throughout her life, and her life is longer than a human's lifespan. I don't know what I was doing. That was my challenge for that story. My challenge for writing Wasa was actually to write an entire story. I mean, it was the second story I finished, but
yeah, maybe I'll drop a list later on, and we'll see how it goes. But moving on,
not including any collabs, how many different stories have you already written out? Not just posted on Tapas. Not including any that you have planned or outlines for, but including any that you have written at least a page or a chapter for, unedited or not.
All right, so I can actually answer that very easily here. So I would have to just go to. So I have, because I would have to. This is including old stuff. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's see. I gotta go to my other folder here because I'm almost there actually. Go to works. So 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I've got a good like 15 stories with at least one chapter like written or at least like a page or so written, that have not been published on Tapest. And that's not included. And then on Tapest, I've got like 6 stories written.
Well, unless
already.
you include that all to the Aphuanian Tales.
And that's only, well, that's only the Aphuanian Tales are the only things I have solo written.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, you don't. You have so you have the Aphuanian Tales. I wouldn't consider Spirit of Magic part of the Aphuanian Tales because it's not canon anymore.
Oh,
so
I
that
was
would be
counting.
2.
I was counting it.
And
I was counting
then
that.
I'd also the story that you started writing that was inspired by the pandemic.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot about that one.
See, I remember the ones I read. You have at least 3 that if you bunch all the Aphuanian Tales together.
Yeah, that's true. If you bunch all the Aphuanian Tales together, it's 3. But I've got 2 other
Yeah.
worlds, actually 3 other worlds that I have
Yeah.
stories for, but they've only been explored in collabs as far as writing goes.
But you have a bunch of character sheets for them. But that was.
Yeah, I have character sheets and stuff like that. Actually, 4 other worlds.
So, ready for the next question then?
Yes.
All right. How common is magic in this world? Like on a scale of 1 to 5 or whatever. And is magic something anyone can learn, just like learn, or have more of, like, or do they have like more of an affinity towards like water magic, but could learn air or mind control instead? You know, if they want.
All right. So there's actually 2 types of, I'm gonna say, well, 3 types of what I'm going to refer to as magic in the world, and one of them isn't actually considered magic and doesn't follow the rules of magic. So there, first you have the what I call the magic of the elements, which is actually or what I'll actually refer to it as spirit magic, which is based on the 7 guardian spirits of Destia that each have their own element or have light or darkness or soul magic. That magic can be learned by anybody, and it's extremely common. Basically 5 out of 5 common because anybody can learn it. That said, not everybody chooses to learn it, and some parts of Aphing magic is completely illegal to use because, you know, religious fanatics and zealots. So that is the most common type of magic out there. There is also old magic, which is more common, more in line with traditional witchcraft and like real world magic and everything, and that one is rooted in worship of the goddess Majere, who is the goddess of stars. And it's a lot more in line with like actual like occultism and stuff like that, but exaggerated because it's fantasy. The third type of power I'm going to refer to as is not magic, and that is psionics, and that would be psychic abilities. Things like mind control or telepathy or telekinesis. That doesn't fall under magic in anything. That falls under psionics, which it's more about intellect and brain power and everything. So that one, it's very rare. So far, in all of the Aphuanian Tales, only 3 characters have psionics, and 1 does not know that she has psionic abilities. And most psionics, and I say most because it's like very, very, very most, like 99.9999% of psionics cannot access regular magic for some reason. And they don't know why.
Are you ready for your next question?
Yes.
Okay, what's the most evilest character you've written? Like chaotic evil or close to it. Also meaning from their point of view, not just, you know, douchebag, churchy, culty people.
Ooh, so evil from their point of view is in like they know that they're evil and they're
like they're chaotic evil and they are, you know.
That's a tough question because honestly, I don't really have any characters that know that they're evil or consider themselves characters, with the exception of possibly Golish.
Yes, that's what I was gonna say. I was gonna be like, what about him?
The thing with Golish is that he kind of cracked. Like, he was just douchey, churchy person, but he eventually cracked and just became extremely violent, and that was, you know, that's, yeah, he's not, like, I wouldn't even really consider him like, I mean, he's definitely an evil character, but I don't even know if he necessarily sees it as evil. I think he's just like, I'm having fun and I don't care.
Yeah.
But he would probably be the most evil in that sense. But you know, as far as deeds go, then he's probably not the most evil. I'm not entirely sure, but yeah, most of them though, most of my villains think that they're doing the right thing, or they just don't care that they're not doing the right thing.
Okay. So who then is your most kind-hearted or selfless character you've created?
Baron.
Not Calandra.
Calandra is a very close second, but Baron
What about
goes
Chai?
very. No, don't get me wrong.
No, I
There
know, no,
are
I know,
plenty
I
of them
know.
up there. Calandra, Chai, Donovan, Ezra. They are all extremely kind-hearted people.
Yeah.
Sierra, especially. The thing though is that Farron takes it to an unhealthy level, and when I say unhealthy, I mean that it is genuinely unhealthy and it
Yes.
is bad for him. And he's basically martyrizing himself specifically because of trauma,
Yep.
and it is intentional. So I have to say he is the most kind-hearted and selfless character because he is genuinely like putting everybody and everything before himself, and it's not good.
So I don't know about you, but I'm super excited for these last two questions because they are from me. They're from what?
Isn't that nice?
And there's stuff I've talked to you about before. So, and one of them refers to one of the spirits or gods, whatever you want to refer to them as. But so, what is the relationship between Panoba and Penumbra? Are they different interpretations of the same entity, or is Panoba a bastardization of Penumbra?
So, this is actually a very good question. So, originally they were different interpretations of the same entity, but they are not now. And Bree, I am remembering that character or that question for after this one, so I don't lose my train of thought.
Yeah.
But I will get to that one. So, what would you say is your hardest character to write? Is I will definitely get to that one because that one is a good one. So
The
they
train
were
has
originally they were
Sorry.
originally interpretations of the same entity, but now they are actually different because I've things and changes that I made before I started publishing. But Panova is absolutely name-wise, it's very much a mistake of Penumbra. Like people just think that it's like people start associating Penumbra with this other goddess of darkness, and that's where the name Panoba came from. It is not that goddess of darkness's actual name, though, and that name has been lost to Aphuanian history.
And
I know what it is, but I'm not telling you.
And to be added onto that, like I just want to say, your early interpretations when you're developing the story, they were really cool. How that you had the corrupted version, it's just basically a bastardization. But I really loved watching the development of them becoming two separate characters like this. I think this is a great direction for your story. I just want
I
to
think
add
so
that.
too. Thank you. So I'm gonna get to your next question in a minute there, Amanda,
Yeah,
but I
don't
don't
worry.
want to forget about
I'm
this.
saving that one for afterwards. Go ahead.
So what would you say your hardest character to write is? That is kind of tough to say. I want to say I'm trying to think here because part of me wants to say Elra because of the way she's kind of got that stoicness to her, but I
You're so
also
good at
kind of
her though.
I am, and honestly, I kind of want to say Farron in a way because there's points where I
Yeah.
have to make sure he doesn't go too far, and there are points where I have to make sure he goes far enough. Farron is a character who I really, really heavily need to strike a delicate balance with in order to make his character the person that I want to be, and the same thing happens with Ren. Farron and Ren are both extremely difficult characters to write because they both have these personality traits that it's very easy to go too far or not far enough in the direction with those traits that I want to. And it's very easy for them to become parodies of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm trying very hard not to do that because these are basically the only two characters of my stories that are supposed to be extremely serious characters as far as seriously written. Everybody else, like, I am more than happy to let them kind of satirize themselves a little bit because it is a humorous story. It's kind of the point.
Yeah.
You know.
So, I mean, for me, it would have to be Eleanor, honestly,
Yeah.
for Minding Empathy, my new story, because she she has her personality, but then her abilities give her a whole different personality, and she honestly can't separate her own feelings from everyone else's. And it was really funny because I started writing this story before I read TLC, and then I was like, oh my god, her and Yin Yang could be friends.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, that'd be great. But anyways, I just had to mention that because
Oh
I
yeah.
realized that the other day when I was like looking, finishing reading TLC, I was like, holy shit, I just realized that, there's a lot of lines to draw between Yin Yang and Eleanor, because in Eleanor, she's an empathic mage, so like it's a take on empaths, so she feels everything and it's actually part of her magic, but and she can read minds and stuff. It's fun. It's not the same, but it was just like there were so many similarities. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, and Bree, I highly recommend checking out Minding Empathy because those chapters are shorter than our other ones as well. So you would
It's a shorter
Minding
read.
Empathy and the Fell Wren are both intended to be easier for people who don't have time to read a lot in one sitting to get through, and it's intentionally done so. And I'll talk a little
Okay.
bit about the Fell Wren after the last question, but I feel like Amanda's really waiting for this, so go ahead.
Okay, so this is a great question. So anyways, I always think of Penumbra as like Lucas the Spider, and and Panova as like Quelaag from Dark Souls, in case you don't know who those are. Would you say this is accurate, or is there something wrong with me?
So I mean,
Are you looking at the stream?
I am,
I'm
and
so happy I figured out how to get that GIF up. It's so cute.
I am, horrified and intrigued.
Right? But for some reason, I always think I'm like here, Dark Goddess and like darkness, and that, because she had been like a corrupted version of, Penumbra. I just can't not think of her as Quelaag.
The energy is definitely there, so I'm not gonna say that you're like wrong or anything. I would say appearance-wise, she definitely appears as like more human-esque human, like without the spider bits and everything, at least
Yeah.
in their artwork and everything. But holy crap, is that a good fit?
Right?
It is such a good fit. Also, though, yes, Penumbra as Lucas the Spider is extremely accurate. Super extremely accurate. It is definitely a fuzzy little god of death.
Okay,
And
so
everything.
Ren had a question for both of us, and it
Well,
was.
Z had a question first.
Oh, I didn't even see that. What's your guys' favorite collaboration? Oh, that's such a hard choice. It's really hard, honestly.
I have an answer for this one actually.
Go ahead. You go first.
So my favorite collab is going to be the one where it was actually an alternate version of the canonical Aphuanian timeline because it involved a canon aping character, and that would be when Clovia of the Knights of Light Wisdom at an early age got recruited by Sir Roth and ended up being trained with and eventually got into a relationship with the Fell Wren, and it changed the course of Aphuanian history in that collab, and it was just such a good one.
Yeah, it came out so good, and it was because Clovia is supposed to meet Roth as a kid, but it's supposed to be brief and not come to not have anything come of it. But for the collab, we had to actually like stick instead, so she stayed with Roth, and then it was just like whoosh, it changed everything. I think if I had to choose my favorite right now, it would have to be the one we're currently working on, which is a young Sir Roth shipping with one of my characters from one of the worlds I did where I was like writing about Grim Reapers.
Yeah, honorable mentions though are definitely the one that I referenced earlier with Zella and Farron, because that one was just adorable and so good. And the other one that's a very honorable mention takes place in a world that has not even been like addressed, and that one would be the story with so this one it's Devin and Reza's story.
Oh yeah, We might post that as an actual thing too.
I would love to do that.
I'm still considering it because I don't know what I want to do with Reza yet.
Yeah, so if that ends up being a thing, it might be like probably like a Patreon thing or something like that. We haven't figured it out yet. But that one, it takes place in a completely different world and everything, but it's just so good, and I love it so much. And I'd love to continue it.
But it's really hard to actually choose between the one that we're working on, which the Roth and Esme collab, which is the one that we've been currently writing, is our most recent collab, is one of my favorites. But it's a really close tie with the one with Eric and
Chloe. Yes.
Chloe. Like, that one was so good that Chloe, I actually made an AFing version of Chloe, and she is now a canon character.
Yes, because we had to. It was just, she was so perfect for Eric and his story that we had to. So, and that will actually, you will canonically see those two together because one of Eric's later stories down the line, which is called Of Bricks and Bottles, will be posted. It's just, and that's very far down the line.
And when Chloe makes her appearances and stuff, me and Hippie actually do collaborate on that, and I write all of Chloe's lines for it. So it's lots of fun.
There will be points in the Aphuanian Tales where you'll see, like, with additions from Amanda, and that's because we collabed on those chapters.
All right. So the next question was for both y'all. Who would you say is your favorite character from each other's story? Personally, I think my favorite character from any... Oh, God, I just realized I now have a tie. But so I'm going to have to choose two. But I'll choose from the Aphuanian Tales first because the other one is from a world that has not been introduced. But from the Aphuanian Tales, it's honestly Kit. Because Kit, honestly, Kit's very special to me. They made me realize that I am much more gay than I ever thought I was.
Yeah, they did.
I was like, okay, maybe I'm not straight. Maybe I'm not. I keep shipping every character. I think I started accepting this and started realizing this when I put one of my straight characters in and they went gay for Kit. I was like, okay, you're telling me that people just can't go gay? Then what's going on with me?
Yeah, that doesn't happen. Yeah, exactly. And so Kit, for those who don't know, Kit is my non-binary but very, 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 very promiscuous little character who is an alchemist and just straight up God, what a movie.
I love you, Bree.
Yeah, and when I say promiscuous, I mean that, like, Kit is very forward.
Many of the times their first line is "step on me" when the big character shows up.
Legit, like, they have just straight up asked the character to sit on their face, like, unprompted. They're a little more smooth than that normally, though.
And then what I have to say, the one character that almost tied with Kit is from a different world of hippies, and the character's name is Julian. And I just, I love him so much. And then I was like, okay, yes, I must be gay.
Yes.
Because,
and
because certain things with Julian. I don't know. I don't want to spoil things unless.
No, you can. Okay. You can say it. Go ahead.
Because Julian's trans. So I was like, oh my god, I really am getting pretty gay.
Trans man.
So So I was like, all right. The fact that I'm like. My character that I was writing at the time was enjoying Julian, like, laying in Julian's boobs so much. I'm like, you know what? I would love to do that. And I'm like, Amanda, you might be gay. just a little bit.
Just a little bit.
So, surprise, I'm pan.
Yeah. So I'm gonna have to go. So from. This is a tough one, honestly, for you. I'm gonna try to limit myself just to when Souls Awaken characters here, because I have so many characters of yours that I absolutely love. I would say that probably my favorite character of yours, period, would probably be Alcina.
Oh yeah, I know that. Alcina's your number one bae. You love her.
Yeah, I do.
I wrote her with all my trauma. She was my one character insert.
Yes.
I spiced it up a bit for...
Oh my god, Bree.
I love that. Amazing.
Yeah, but so from when Souls Awaken, I'm gonna, well, I immediately fell in love with Flora, so obviously I had to go with her. She's just adorable. But very honorable mention to Viserys as well, just being a forest god and everything. Really loved him as a character. But there really wasn't a character from when Souls Awaken that I actively disliked unless I was supposed to.
Yeah. Oh god, don't worry. I have a lot of characters coming up that you guys are supposed to hate. It'll be great. You'll love it so much. You'll love it as you cry.
But one character that I especially appreciate is the... Well, actually, I can't really answer that one because there's some major spoilers coming up. But
what's the first letter of their name?
But I'm just gonna say that I really appreciate how well you handled things with a certain god character that we've definitely hinted at some big red flags regarding.
Oh, yes. I really can't wait. Oh god, I'm so excited. I'm going to just drop all the chapters right now. Go read it.
That would be hilarious.
No, but they're not edited.
Yeah, so just kind of that's unless anyone else has any questions in the chat, which I'll gladly take a few last minute ones. Just wanted to point out for anybody that's interested. So I'm gonna go ahead and just drop my link real quick. This is
drop the Discord link too, please. I would, but it would mess up your whole avatar.
Yeah.
There.
So, just gonna go ahead and pop that in as well. So, the Aphuanian Tales, the most recent story, which is the Fell Wren, which the first couple of chapters are up of, that one has some very short chapters. If just to give you a taste of not only my writing style, but also of just like the kind of humor and everything else. It's a very easy to read story. It's meant for people who don't have Z, I will get to your question. It's meant for people who don't really have the time to like commit to like long stories or anything like that. But all of the Aphuanian Tales are kind of standalone, so you'd be able to you know, read most of them in one sitting if you chose to as well. The easiest one so far that I've seen people be able to be like, yes, this is perfect for me in length and everything, was The Shopkeeper, which is 2 chapters long, really good, really short. But, you know, I have some longer form stories on there as well. The Fell Wren will be a long form story. But that's part of why I'm keeping the chapters as short as they are, because 1, it helps me to not get burnt out, and 2, it makes it so that it's easy for people to keep up with, and that releases every Friday. I've been going with morning drops lately because it seems to be doing pretty well. Everybody gets a chance to read it that day, but I might experiment with times a little bit here and there.
And if there's a specific time you actually want it dropped, you know, always request it.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's much easier than guessing.
Yeah, it's a lot easier than guessing. But yeah, and that can be read for free on Tapas. You can also subscribe to my Patreon if you want access to everything a week early. Patreon subscribers for either of us also get a free Oracle dice reading based on their tier. I'm going to be hopefully getting my tarot deck very soon. I know I've been saying that for a few weeks, but there has been problems with the fulfillment center for the Kickstarter for tarot, and it's been a mess for the poor publishing goblin who has been trying to deal with that stuff. But our Discord link is there. Please check that out. And, you know, feel free to come and chat with us and everything. So Z had one last question, which is, what class of ship is the Crimson Tempest? It is a galleon in size. I mean, it's similar in size to a galleon, I'll say, because you know they're their own class of ships in the Aphuanian Tales, but it's described as being roughly the same size as a galleon.
Classified it as a modified galleon.
Yes, a modified galleon. Thank you.
Okay, when did you come up with the original storyline, and what inspired you to put it on Tapas?
All right, so I came up with the original stories of the Aphuanian Tales. I'm assuming this question is for both of us. So
we'll both answer, but yeah, go for it.
Yeah. So I originally came up with the original stories and stuff for the Aphuanian Tales, and actually Ren's story specifically when I was 11.
Also,
So
I just have to ask, do you need
about
a posture check because your avatar is so crooked?
how's that? Is that better?
That looks better. I was worried for your neck there for a bit.
Yeah, probably. That happens sometimes. So, I think it was also just the camera is like,
Yeah.
okay, apparently it's at this angle. But, yeah, I was, so about 18 years ago was when but what inspired me to put it on Tapas was, I mean, I've always wanted to publish it in some way, in some form, but I wasn't sure how. But what really got me publishing on Tapas was that Amanda was publishing on Tapas, and I didn't want her to have to go through the horrifying ordeal of being known by herself.
Yeah, anxiety,
So
buddy.
basically, yeah, I mostly started putting the Aphuanian Tales up on Tapas as a way to support Amanda, so that way she wasn't the only one of us doing it, and she
Yeah.
had somebody else to kind of go off of and everything.
Oh.
So
So
90% of what I do is to support her.
so when Souls Awaken, I started writing it in 2019. So it's only been a few years, but I only started writing in 2018. And I've had some of these, actually no, when Souls Awaken was a new character, a new story idea for me. But yeah, so I've only been writing for a few years, but I've been writing every day since. Thank you for the hydration. I'll do that in just a second. And I put it on Tapas because honestly, it's kind of like the whole reason I started to start writing. First of all, I had friends supporting me, telling me I should. So I had Hippie and Shadow. Both of them were reading my work and telling me I should really share it. And but before that, like that's what got me onto Tapas. But to actually get me started with writing, you know, tragic backstory. I guess it's kind of tragic, but I was just super depressed trying to deal with some horrible shit that was going on. I had a friend that had a very serious form of cancer that she did not recover from, and it was extremely aggressive and fast, and I just needed some sort of escape. So that's how I started writing all this stuff, and that was 2018 that I started doing that. At the time, I was still in college and all too.
Yeah, you were.
Yeah, it was like the worst year of my life. But I wrote like the best stuff. I write best when I'm depressed. But I don't know how to take this seriously. But actually I started publishing to Tapas in specific after hating Wattpad and feeling discouraged on there. But I was just basically looking for anywhere I could post my shit without, you know, and maintaining my copyright basically. And Tapas was one of the places that I found and researched, and then I'm like, oh my god, this community is actually nice. But so it was, that's how we got here. And what also inspired me was, you know, with the whole pandemic thing, I was like, well, I'm fucked anyway, so might as well try. Because I started posting everything in November. It was after I hurt my back. Because I really fucked up my back in May by doing nothing. Literally, and pretty much, yeah. It was a very bad story. I bent over and I couldn't get back up. And my back's been fucked ever since. I couldn't walk for like 2 weeks. And
yeah,
I went into physical therapy. I was in physical therapy for months. But yeah, so writing and posting and all is really just a distraction from the depression. Ha! And I started streaming, since I'm on a whole origin story now. I started streaming as a way to force me to stop working on the story shit, because I was not taking any breaks, and I'm like, at least if I start streaming a game, I'll stop for a couple hours. And it worked. Yeah. It's the one of the times that I take a break.
Yeah, essentially.
But so I enjoyed the streams. This is the only stream I actually have to like really prepare for. But it's not nearly as bad as that. Oh my god, I just remembered. I have 20 minutes to finish my commentary edition. Goodbye, everyone. No, I'm not going to hang out. I still have to finish my commentary edition. So,
I'm
Hippie.
pretty sure it's gonna take longer for than 20 minutes to do the commentary edition, but yes.
So, Hippie, since you're like one of my only people at the $15 tier on Patreon, the commentary edition will release. It's already got the chapter on there. Hey, there's a little secret with my Patreon stuff. You guys get the chapter. So, the chapters are scheduled to, notify you at midnight on the day of the release, because they're midnight releases. But the truth is, if you go on and check there, if I actually have my shit together, you have access to it as soon as I finish editing it, because I put it up there.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's just that the post on Patreon will just tell you that I added it to the folder. But, I mean, as soon as I move it into the folder, you guys technically have access. So sometimes you get it even earlier than... So, but not by much. Usually I'm running all my deadlines and writing them like it's spring. But,
Amanda.
I disappoint myself too.
I freaking love you.
But anyway, speaking of content and deadlines and all that, so tomorrow, there's the right paper thing to look at. So tomorrow, we both have content dropping for all of our story stuff. When Souls Awaken, chapter 50, is dropping in 4 parts. 4 parts.
Oh,
because
wow.
It was so big. And then chapter 8 of Minding Empathy is posting as well. Not so big. And
we did a lot of editing this week.
What was it even called? No, that was last week's editing.
Okay, fine, but
this week's editing is next week's stuff for Patapis because Patreon gets a week ahead of time.
This is
Except
true.
for Minding Empathy. Everyone gets that whenever I get it done. Minding Empathy is my current project, and I try. And actually, it's on a schedule to release every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday currently for celebration of Pride Month. Woo! Oh, maybe I can finally finish my little comic tonight. Yeah, no, that's not happening. Oh wait, I can cross out
commentary edition.
Commentary edition, yes. But look, I am going to take my pen, cross out the Storytime Chit-Chat stream on my hand that I wrote, and then the outline for it. Oh yes, and that only leaves like 6 things to do on my list. That I wrote on my hand, and I'm scribbling out because apparently I'm smart.
Thank you, Ren. I tell her that all the time.
What? I stay up till 4 a.m. This is almost lunchtime for me. Or I don't know, maybe not almost lunchtime. I can't sleep anyway. But thank you, Ren. I will behave. That's why the Mighty Empathy chapters are so short. Also, next week. So this week, Patreon is getting chapters 51 through 50. 51 through what? I want to say the right one. I want to say 51 through 54.
I want to say 54 too.
Yeah, 51 through 54 are dropping on Patreon. But fun fact, 51 through 54 used to be all one chapter, but it's now broken into 4 because there's so much stuff going on, and it worked really well, and I'm really enjoying having smaller chapters to work through. Even though it's the same amount of content, like, it just seems easier with it broken up. So I'm doing myself that little pseudo relief. But it is pretty nice. It also means that next week you'll have 4 days of releases on Tapas, because when I have multiple chapters, I release them a day at a time on Tapas instead of all at once on Friday. So you guys kind of get it earlier than you would normally. Woo. But the next stream is what I need to talk about, which will be tomorrow. It will be Oblivion, and it'll be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Hippie will be keeping me company for the first hour, and then I'll be relying on chat to keep me company. And hopefully I'll be finishing up the Shivering Isles and then going home to deal with my loot hoarding problem. And we might do some Oblivion Gates, maybe a Daedric mission here or there, but it'll be fun. I haven't figured out what mission line I'm doing after Shivering Isles yet, because no one's made any requests yet, so anyways.
I'll save any of my requests for the week that I'm going to be there the entire time.
Yeah. So that means, is there anything you have to add, Cease?
Um, just new episodes of both of our works tomorrow, like I said. So tomorrow's the next episode of the Fell Ren, which is, let me take a look. I know that the first episode we went through. Oh, it's going to be Fell Ren episode 4, so we have that to look forward to, and that is, it's story time. So we're all going to get to hear a little bedtime story tomorrow. It's going to be great.
Oh, yay.
Mm-hmm.
Hurt me more, why don't you? So,
Yep.
also remember, if you're not a big reader and you're in here, but you wanna know what, like, you just don't have the mental space for reading, because I don't. I don't know what's happening anymore after, sir. I can write all day, but I can't read for shit. I'm not a great reader. But anyways, on my link tree, there's a link to Fictionate when Souls Awaken, and you can listen to it rather than read, because they have AI readers on there. I do plan on possibly next month getting around to creating, changing the AI voices so the characters all have different voices and stuff, and because that would be nifty. Plus, I have to update chapters. I haven't done that in a while. But there's a lot to do on my to-do list, but nothing else is getting added for this month, because I am overwhelmed with my minding empathy. But yeah.
Yeah,
so
we got a lot going on.
Yeah. And then next month I'm adding a new stream. For every Monday, it'll be VR Monday, as an attempt to better my health, because more exercise. And plus, I just think VR is fun. And we'll be starting, the game I start off with will be Pistol Whip. I'll be doing the Pistol Whip campaign. And then the next VR stream game will probably be The Exorcist, because I hate myself. And I've been promising that to my Discord for quite a while now. And I purchased the game a while ago.
I am so looking forward to being there for that.
I think I jump enough playing The Forest that I am terrified to play The Exorcist.
What? You don't want to have, like... You don't want to have, like, to be jump scared or anything?
I might have to put my cat in the bathroom so he doesn't touch me during it.
I mean, I understand that. It's just... It's really bad to get scared.
He likes to rub up against my leg when I'm playing.
Oh,
God! Every bit spent really helps out the channel. Same with every subscription. If you have Amazon Prime, there's the Prime subscription that helps me just as much as normal subscriptions, I believe. So.
Yes.
But, subscribe, follow, tell your friends to follow, check me out, read my stuff. If you subscribe to my stuff, then I can, oh my God, I have to drink twice. I forgot. Oh God.
And posture check. All at once.
Okay.
Don't lose your posture while you're drinking.
Glug. That glug there is for you, Bree. All my love for you, Bree. I get so attached to people so fucking quickly. Like, Ruby commented on my story twice, and I was like, hippie. After the first comment, I was like, hippie. You gotta meet Ruby. Ruby's the best. Look at what Ruby wrote. Ruby wrote the best stuff. I'm like, Ruby could have wrote this as shit.
She's like a puppy.
And I probably would have been excited. But no, she was like, yes, the hands. You gotta love the hands. I get very excited. But yeah. So and now I'm like, oh, you gotta check out Bree. You gotta check out Bree, because I read their comic and they replied to all the stuff all really nicely, and I was just like, oh my God, what a nice person. I really am a puppy.
You are a puppy, and it's adorable.
Which is why I love Denzel from TLC. Sorry, it's actually it's Bree's profile picture. Puppy character. I love puppy characters. I think this is the longest.
Carter from your story is a very good puppy character.
Oh,
too.
Carter is a huge puppy. And he's in Minding Empathy. He appears in the second episode, I believe. He is major puppy, and I enjoy my characters so much. I can't wait. I really gotta I gotta go and work on stuff, guys.
Yeah, you do.
Yes, please break my heart, Bree. I am looking forward to it. Hurt me so good.
Yep, and if you want to get hurt really good, then make sure to check out Amanda's story again when Souls Awaken. It
I made
is
Ruby
really
cry.
fantastic, and yes, you will probably cry. And also, if you don't like to hurt as much, then you can read my stuff because I tend to do
Or
more of the
read
humor
Minding
stuff.
Empathy.
Or read Minding Empathy, yes.
Just
That's
swipe your own promotion.
yeah, wow. I even promoted you first and everything.
I appreciate you. No, totally read the
Appreciate you.
Aphuanian Tales. It's a great, lighthearted. At times it will still hurt you, but
Yes, in fact, Felren people can get ready for some hurt in a couple of weeks. It's gonna be great.
it might be easy to make Ru-chan cry, but be aware. I cried when I first initially wrote this scene. I cried it the first time I edited it, and then I cried again 2 years later, the whatever years later this is, when I edit it. The first time I edit it, the second time I edit it, but not the third or fourth time at least. I stopped crying at that scene at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But this is what happens.
she actually had to take a break while we were editing it so that way she
Give me a
wouldn't.
second. I had to distract myself.
You did because you didn't want me to hear you crying.
You're rude. I used to never cry at anything, and then I guess I've been bottling it for too long. Or hormones?
Yeah.
I'm not really sure.
Probably the bottling.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like you're kind of like a Laura when it comes to feelings.
Huh. It's almost like I wrote her during a very hard time.
Yeah, almost.
But that's what I'm gonna go on a little. Yes, I broke my own heart with my book, and I did it in multiple stories. I have not hurt myself as much as I have with any of my stories as I have with the Dragon War. And it is my favoritely written. It's my favorite scene I've ever written because the emotion is so raw. Like, it's such a heartbreaking moment that the character, in the scene is like silent, and she's not noticing anything that's happened because she is so heartbroken in it. And it's just, I love that scene so much. It's the scene I'm most proud of. Even if it's not up to the same writing skill that I have right now, I still, whenever I get, to emotionally tense scenes, I'm like, I need to go check back and see what I did in that, because that was fucking awesome.
Mm-hmm.
I get so hyped for my stuff. Writing is the only thing in my life I think I've ever really been proud of and been like, yeah, I can do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's so weird.
And I love it.
Oh god, I got really hyped. I really do have to go though and work on my stuff because that's gonna drop in 8 minutes.
Just gonna go ahead and just I don't know what your link tree stuff is. Oh, you already did yours, so yeah. I'm just gonna do.
It's our
mine real
usernames.
quick. So
to keep
just
it easy.
Check out. So there's my link tree. Amanda's is posted just a little bit up in the chat, but I'll just post it again real quick.
Yeah. So thank you so much for coming and joining us.
Mm-hmm. And you want to put your suggestions in too?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Because I want to make sure we shout out to Bree and Crow and all of them.
So on this list we have I have two novels that I suggest and 4 comics. Totally check them out. They're all wonderful creators, really awesome. The one comic on there, The Calamitous Misadventures of Oscar, I will warn you that it's currently being slow on updates, but he does plan on getting back to it. It's just, he literally just had a baby 3 months ago.
Yeah.
So, I don't know how long. I really got to message him and see how he's doing. But anyway.
Yes, but first, commentary edition.
Yes. But anyway, have a good night, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in. I'll see you in the chat in Discord.
Yep.
I'll try not to. The commentary edition is really the last thing I have to have done tonight. So that's literally just me going through and writing things that I think about it. And it's fun because it varies from, this is the reason that this character did this with all this trauma and stuff and more backstory and information. And then the next one is, ha, dog go bark.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you're interested in basically what we do here with Storytime Chit-Chat, but more in depth and very timed and everything, the commentary edition is very well worth the you know, being at the $15 tier for Patreon.
And also the commentary edition, I do make sure to say things on there that I do not say in Storytime Chit-Chat. There are a few more spoilery or insights in that than there are here.
Yes.
But anyways, have a good night, everyone. I love you so much. Thank you so much for keeping this stream at like 5 viewers the whole time. It was amazing. I loved it. It was wonderful. And thank you so much for... Oh, hey, Edwig! Sorry. And thank you so much for all the questions in the chat. I love that. That was so much fun.
I would love to.
This is what I'm hoping for. I can't wait for it to like grow more. But yes, I'm terrible at saying goodbye, apparently. Okay, I'm hanging out now. Good night. Love you all. Have a beautiful night.
Good night.